The Joe Gibbs Racing Nationwide Series cars are on the grid. The 18 car tonight, driven by Kyle Busch, will start 15th in line. The 20 car of Joey Logano starting in the back in a backup car. A case of a tough week getting even tougher as the crew tries to get that car through tech and out to the grid. On Wednesday, NASCAR penalized the Gibbs team. The two crew chiefs for those cars, Jason Ratcliffe and Dave Rogers, fined $50,000 each and suspended indefinitely. Plus, the car chief and engine tuners from each team and one additional crew member all suspended indefinitely by NASCAR. 150 driver and owner points deducted from each car, and the entire crews of both cars placed on probation until December 31st. For more on what was done to those cars to result in those penalties, we go to our Chevy Cutaway car and bring in Tim Brewer.
Last Saturday at Michigan, after the race, they impounded all the Nationwide cars, and what they wanted to do is basically take them to the chassis dyno, run the things, and determine how much horsepower each car had. And that's where the trouble started. The throttle, as you can see down here, when we open the thing to 100%, it's going to have maximum horsepower. But this throttle stop right there, somebody on the team actually came in there, put the magnet in place, and as you can see, as the throttle goes down, it doesn't open all the way. It's only about 85%. Knocked about 12 horsepower out of the thing. What that did, NASCAR, they didn't like that. So what they did, they actually came in, found the magnet, removed it, re-ran the car, so they got the accurate numbers that they were looking for. And it's another deal to where if you get caught in NASCAR, it doesn't matter if it's Joe Gibbs or anybody else in the garage area, when you get caught cheating, NASCAR is going to come down on you really hard.
Both cars raced tonight with new crew chiefs. Both veterans of the sport moved from other positions within the Gibbs organization. Wally Brown will head the 20 effort for Joey Logano here, while Doug Hewitt oversees the 18 for Kyle Busch tonight. Team President J.D. Gibbs has been kind enough to join us inside our ESPN pit studio. J.D., thank you. I know it's been a tough week. Yep. You said Wednesday that the team would impose sanctions beyond what NASCAR did on the individuals involved. What and why?
Yeah, I think for us, when you look at it, the easy thing originally, what we're going to do is just say, just fire the guys. You know, but what we have there are some guys that have been great JGR employees for a long time, and you got to be careful. You know, how do you treat those guys? So we said, look, NASCAR is going to suspend them indefinitely. We don't know what that means. We said whatever date they come up with, end of the year, 10 races left, 8 to go. We're just going to say we're going to add to that. Okay, we haven't figured out how much you're going to add, but we're going to add to that. And then financially, they gave them a financial penalty, $50,000 apiece. We're going to add to that as well. And I think, it's just one of those things that the guys did it. They were very remorseful. You don't realize the impact you're going to have on Joe Gibbs Racing as a whole and your whole team when you do that. I think now they do, and hopefully going forward, this isn't going to happen again. Yeah.
Some people might not understand, looking from the outside, why those people do still work for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah. What we have there is you got two guys there, especially Jason and Dave, who have been here a long time. Young guys, but they work. What you see in the past, their character, the way they work, the effort they put, what they sacrifice for Joe Gibbs Racing, you kind of figure out what's the right thing to do. And we kind of came up with, look, let's have the penalties, have them stiffer. They might say, you know what, that's not worth it. We're going to do something different. But to this point, they've acknowledged they've done the wrong thing, and they want to move on, and hopefully this will be a learning experience for them down the road.
You and Coach have talked repeatedly that these were individuals acting on their own, though the organization accepts responsibility for what happened. This is your family name.
Yep.
Does this incident change in some way how you will oversee the competition side of the company?
I don't know. I think look, we have a pretty good track record for 17 years. Our guys don't do this stuff. It's not worth it. I think when you look at the chassis dyno thing, the biggest problem I have, what we learned there is if you come back and those chassis dyno numbers aren't good and you aren't the best, here's who gets upset. Your drivers start screaming. Your crew chiefs start screaming. It's not worth it. So we want to win that thing every time. Yeah. And so that was a big discouragement for our guys as well, because it kind of puts a shadow over all their hard work.
Jay, do you think this is going to be a major setback when it comes to performance for those two cars? Or do you think there's enough depth in this organization that you can just move on and the car should keep the performance level up?
I think it'll be a hit. We'll see. But I think our guys, I think they prepare the cars well. I think coming here, it's just, it's going to be different communicating with different people. It's going to take a while. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't hurt too much, but it's definitely going to be painful, for at least the rest of this year.
We've talked about this all week. We've explored it, got all the information out of it. Okay, how do we move on? What's the next step for you guys? What's your mindset in trying to get this thing behind you and get back to racing?
Yeah, I think really it goes back to performing on track. If you go out here tonight, you go out here, you run well, you go run the week after that, and consistently you get back on track. You know, hopefully we'll have some other story come up tonight.
It is Bristol.
You know, yeah, but I think for us, it's just it's one of those things where you want to move on. At the same time, I want our guys to realize I don't want them to ever forget what this is like going through this. You know, you have a great year, and now there's a shadow of it over it, and it shouldn't be there. And it's like that's the thing, you don't want to lose sight of it. I want them to move on, but you know, you don't want to forget it, because I want them to know what it feels like here, what we're going through.
And did you or the coach have some sort of pre-race message for the team coming in here tonight?
Yeah, we did. We went and met, you know, the Nationwide shop as well as the Cup shop, and just kind of said, hey, here's our past history. Here's why we did what we did. Going forward, I don't think we'll have this problem here for quite some time. And if we do, it'll probably be treated differently. But I think overall, our goal is let's go back to work. You know, do what we've been doing all year long, and as this year winds up, hopefully we'll be able to keep running for that Owners' Championship and make the points up we lost.
And my last question is, because it just popped into my mind, you talked about being upset about the driver aspect of these penalties. Is there an appeal planned for that? As of midweek, you weren't sure whether you're going to or not.
I think as we talk to NASCAR, we'll probably look at appealing those penalties on the driver standpoint. You know, I didn't know if in past instances drivers have been put on probation, you know, whether it was last year with some of the other teams that they went through. I don't think that's the case. Yeah. So we're going to research that, and that's probably the one area we'll probably look at appealing.
JD, I appreciate your time, and thank you as always for your eloquence. And it's Bristol. We'll see what happens tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, appreciate it. JD Gibbs, president of Joe Gibbs Racing, with us in our ESPN pit studio at Bristol.